All right. We do seem to be live. Let me just check to do a sound check and make sure everything looks decent. Let's see. View your channel. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing right now. And there's going to be a bit of echo here in a minute. So sorry about that. You can probably just fast forward like, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. Maybe a little bit more because the stream is not loading yet. Might just need a second. Well, this is kind of unusual. I don't know if it's just because I'm streaming while trying to watch the stream at the same time. Hello. Oh, there we go. Hello. Well, this is kind of unusual. I don't know if it's just because I'm. All right. Well, that sounds good. Enough, I guess. So yeah, what are we doing today? I started this project, I don't know, Friday, and it is now Sunday, I believe. I mean, I know it's Sunday, but I believe I started it on Friday. Um, and so, yeah, let me just give you sort of an overview first. And let me also just say I am pretty far zoomed in on things. It's a little bit harder for me to see than I would like, just because we're zoomed in so that the stream can see okay. So hopefully I don't get lost because I'm used to being like I'll show you guys where I usually am. So right now we're at 150%. This is normally where I'm at, but it seems like it might be a little bit hard to see on the stream. So we're just gonna bump that into 150%. And I'm realizing now you guys can't see this menu here, which is okay. But yeah, so what do we got here? Let me just sort of do a demo. We'll go into full screen here so that you guys can see a little bit better. So as you can probably tell, this is a text-based adventure game. And in fact, it's not even a game, really. The objective of this is not for it to be a game. The objective is to. Whoa, something just spiked on my microphone. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Seems to be peaking a little bit. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so the goal of this, we're still peaking. The goal of this is not to create a game per se. The goal is to create sort of an engine or a toolkit that other people can create games with. Um, so let me just sort of give a quick demo. So when you first start the project, this is what you're given. And actually, there's some things that are missing. I might have saved it to this one. There we go. This looks better. Yeah, this looks a lot better. All right, and I know I was actually working on a bug when I was last working on this, so hopefully we can figure that out. Okay, this might be a little bit harder than I thought to show, but that's okay. So, we just got a notification that we need turbo mode enabled, so we'll go ahead and enable that, and things run a lot better. So there's going to be these variable things here. You can just ignore these. These are just things I'm using to debug. But this is what you'll be presented with when you first open the project. So the sort of format or the layout of the screen that I have right now is basically what the whole game is going to look like. So at the top, you have the name of the room that you're currently in, or just like the location that you're in. And then you have the description of the room. So that's here. So in this case, it just says, "Welcome to Adventure Studio." And then it gives you a couple of things that you can do. And one thing that's, I think, pretty cool is the way that I'm handling color. It does have a couple of downsides, which I'll get into, but it works pretty well, I think, for this. So you start out in a room. There's no other rooms. This is the only room. This is the only place that you can go. But we can create a new room with this command here, create room direction. For an example, we can use create room N, which will create a room in the north direction. Likewise, we could also do create room E, which would create a room in the east direction. But we'll just do create room N, just like the example, which will create a new empty room in the north direction. Now, I think this is the bug. It's supposed to display a room name and a room description, even though we didn't define one. But you can see, and actually this is that original room. Yeah, so something's really messed up here. I mean, we can still go back and forth between the rooms, but something's really messed up with the, I think it's with the drawing block that I have here. But let me just go back just so that I can show you guys. Let me say, I might not be able to show creating a new room. I used to be able to create new rooms and it used to work really well, at least well enough. But this is sort of what we're going for. So we'll turn turbo mode on here. Kind of glad I put that in. That's just this block right here that has that pop up. So if turbo mode's not running, then I'll tell you that the game was designed with it to be enabled. I don't really know why it's not just enabled by default, like why it's even an option, but it's probably some technical reason. Anyways, so yeah, this is sort of the idea of what we're going for. So it'll say, hey, you're in room 1, and then it lists the exits. So the directions that we can travel in are just north. So we'll go north, and this is just what I'm using for the command input. It's just a variable that you can enter things into. So now it says we're in room 2, and exit is obviously back south where we came from, so we can go back south. Now we're back in the room that we started in. You can see you can just sort of go back and forth between these two rooms. Not sure if we'll be able to create a room, but let's try it. So we'll create room east. Oh, there we go. So create a new room in the east direction. We can press E, and it says invalid direction, but it does work. It takes us there, and you can see we traveled east to get to room 2, and now to get back to room 1, we can go back west, and we're now back in room 1. So yeah, that's sort of the idea of what we're going for here. And I might have to, let's see, can we export block definition? I don't want to export all of these. Am I gonna have to, what? What is that gonna do? Okay, so wow, this looks really sloppy. But this does look like all the blocks, not just the draw block. But here is the draw block. So if we just copy that and then let's come up to the top and then find the first block definition. So right here you can see block definition. Pretty sure this is the first one. And then we'll come down to the bottom and see if there's a block definition. Oh, my Google home alarm is going off. Hey Google, stop! Sorry about that. So I'm just looking for, you know what, this might be, let's just go back, and we've exported that if we need it. But let's just go back to the original project and see if we can just figure out what the issue is here. And by the way, this is just some documentation that I've started on. I've kind of split it up into two sections. So Adventure Studio, that's the name of the project. Actually, it's not. It's just TBG2. But I think I've settled on naming it in the long term Adventure Studio. And then, yeah, so Adventure Studio is like when you are playing the project, when you just press the green flag and you start going right in here. Like we ran the command create room north or create room east or whatever we did. That's all Adventure Studio. Adventure Studio Core is sort of the all of this stuff, right? So, I mean, I guess you could think of this as like Adventure Studio Stage, where everything in the game happens, and then Adventure Studio Scripts, which is what actually runs the game. But I basically just have some documentation on the game. This is so that in the future people can figure out and learn how to use this, but it's also for me just so that I can sort of keep my thoughts on paper. And this is what I was talking about before with color. You can see if we come down here, this is the initial room. So if we press the green flag, this right here is what's shown here on the screen. So you can see we're using these weird, crap, I'm not sure what I just did there. I just messed something up. This is probably the easiest thing to do. And before I forget, we'll go ahead and turn on circle mode. So if we come down here, yeah, you can see we have like this symbol here, this like O symbol, and we have this G symbol. And then you'll see this D symbol a lot. And as you probably guessed, these are colors. So if we press the green flag, you can see like this O symbol is this blue color. This G symbol is this red color. This, I think this is like an exclamation point type of character, is this green color. And you can see that these are mapped over here. This isn't actually used in the game at all for anything on the project. It's simply here just for my reference. So you can see in the first column we have all the symbols. Second column is, if we go to this website here, for some reason it doesn't let me select that A, that last character. So I have to type it in manually. But if we go to this Wikipedia page, you can see the decimal representation of each of these Unicode characters. And so you can see like here, A is A with the capital A with the line over it. Sorry, I forget what those are called. I know that they have a name, but we can see that is Unicode decimal number 256. And over here we can see the same. So these first two columns are basically just these columns here. And this allows me to just quickly copy whatever color I want and then paste it in wherever I want to use it. I don't have all the colors in here, obviously, just the ones that I'm using, and a couple of others. Like I added a couple gray colors just because that's what I started with. And then the other thing that I've added is just this character here, which will be after all the colors. And this is just used to denote a new line, or rather line break. So we can, for an example, create a new paragraph like this by doing 2 of that symbol. Now, obviously the downside to this the way that we're doing this is any languages that actually use these characters won't work properly in the game. But you could change these offsets, right? So like right now we're starting at 256 and we're going to 356 for the colors. And then we're starting at 357 for other formatting things. But let's say you need, I think they have well, I don't know if that's actually the Spanish upside down exclamation point. I think that might be somewhere else. But anyways, let's just say that you're creating the game, and I'm not a linguist. I don't know if there is a modern day language that uses these characters. I picked it because it says it's deprecated from, I guess, Unicode, but it still works in Scratch for now, at least. So that's what I went with. And I don't think these characters are really used in any language. I think more like, well, maybe it would be better to start down here. I don't know. If anyone has any thoughts on that, please do let me know. But like, these are Romanian characters. We probably don't want to use those, because then if anyone who's Romanian is using the project, they'll have issues. So yeah, that's basically the game. There's a couple things that I want to improve. So I don't even know if it's worth mentioning. I guess I'll mention it. So for an example, down here, you can see we're setting player to a list containing one element, which is just the number 1. And when I first initially started creating this project, this represented and actually still does, represents the current room that the player is in. But as you can probably tell, it is very hard to determine that this is what is storing the user's room position, if that makes any sense. So like, we know that this is a 1, but we don't know what that means. You know what I mean? So I more recently created these 2 blocks inspired by these 2 blocks from, I think, the database library in Snap. Not that one, this one. And I still would probably like to make a remove key, but I don't have that yet. But what this basically allows you to do is just store a key and an associated value inside a list. So instead of just storing one value, which is 1, we could store room underscore ID with a value of 1. And then we can look up the room ID with the string, which will also come in handy when we want to create commands for editing rooms and items and stuff like that, because then the user in the game can just specify what key they want to modify in a given object. So eventually I want to change this to use sort of the system, but I have not done that yet. What else we got? I should probably put this above this, actually. Move this comment over here. So this whole block here is basically the entire game. It sort of kicks everything off. As well as this here, which handles the input, keyboard input. I have this block here, which I can use to save, which is actually pretty cool. And then it can later be loaded. I think I might actually have something saved in there. So if we hit load, yep. So you can see, and this is where the bugs are sort of starting, I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to just maybe rethink about this draw block. But you can see it does load some data. Wow, something's really broken. Why does she want to issue? Yeah, so basically the way that the draw function works right now is it just looks for a line break, which is basically this right here. It's hard to even tell that that's what this is, but that's what this is a line break. Actually, wait, no, sorry, it's not looking for a line break. I actually don't really know how this works. That's not what I wanted. And I can't undo that crap. And something else just changed, but I don't know what that was. All right, let's see. Something's really broken. I don't even know where to start with this. Let's clear the console. Might actually be worth just starting back from my other version. But let's work on this just for a little bit and see if we get anywhere. So let's clear the console. So the way that we do that is as a list, even though we're using a variable here. So we'll say, oh wait, no, that's not what I want. Delete all of console. So if we run that, that'll empty out our console here. We press the green flag. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. So that gets us back to sort of where we were at. And I think what we can do is set this to transient. And now whenever we press the green flag, nope, that did not work. All right. So let's just add delete all of console to our initialization so that whenever we press the green flag, it starts us out like this and not, because before it was every time we press the green flag, it would append to the console. It would just continue appending to the console. And I don't think that's what we want. So, all right, let's look at what else we got. So, and this is going to seem a little bit weird the way that I'm doing this. It'll make more sense in a minute. I'm not clearing the console every time I print to it, even though it sort of looks like it. Like if I go north, it looks like I cleared the console, right? But if you actually look at this list, there's still stuff in the console. And so the way that we're tracking where the top of the screen should be is with this console position variable. So you can see, for an example, right now, console position is at 9, which basically means, and this is why I'm like, this is a little bit weird. I don't know if I like how I'm doing this, but this is basically the bottom of the console. This is where essentially the cursor is, if you will. But even though the bottom of the console is basically here, you can sort of think as it extending down to here where the command area is. So yeah. I'm just going to try to, we might have actually fixed the bug that I was having just by clearing the console. So if we sort of walk around a little bit, yeah, things are looking good so far. Let's try creating a room. So we'll create a room in the east, and we've run into another bug. Fortunately, I think I need to test it here, but I think this is just a sort of graphical issue. It's just not adding another comma there. So we can still go north, we can still go east, and we can still go south. So it seems like everything's working. It's just a graphical issue. Cool. Well, I'm pretty happy about that. I think that's pretty good. Now if we type help, we just, okay. So I think I'm still working on the help command. So that doesn't work yet. Okay, so let's hide that. We can also probably hide the console position for now. And then this console error variable, I just make a large, and I just stick it right up here. And then console loaded, we can also hide. And it's interesting that this variable is showing. I think we are in the command help. Yes. I shouldn't be running though. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. This is a little weird. What is this? Okay, there we go. That was a little strange. Okay, but now if we try to create, or let's just try going east, even though there's no room in east, we get a console error. Okay, good. And then we can change this to large and just put that there. Now if we run a valid command like north, that'll hide, which is nice. So yeah, and this is just the way that I'm doing all of this right now with the variables. I don't really like just displaying the variables on the screen. I tried making it so that it would actually print the variables or draw the variables onto the screen, but I was running into some issues with the backspace key because it's kind of hard to erase in Snap. Like you can't just type a word or a letter or whatever and then just erase that word or letter very easily. So I was experimenting with that, but it was just, I wanted to focus more on actually creating the game. So, and this works for now because we can repurpose these variables once we're ready to actually print them onto the screen in the way that I want to. Yeah, so let's take a look at that issue with the exits. So if we create a room east, you can see we're missing a comma, I believe. So this is the block, command look. And I'm just gonna take a minute, I think, to just look over this and not explain it because it's sort of, it's a lot harder to just look at this and understand what it does compared to like JavaScript, in my opinion. Someone else might look at this and be able to just identify the issue, but I'm gonna have to take a minute here. So bear with me. Hopefully I can figure out what the issue is. And I might add a little bit of commentary. This is where we're getting the room of the player. Eventually we'll replace this block, item 1 of player, with get value from key, room ID in player. And then we can see it's the room ID because it'll be right there in the block. As opposed to right now, you don't know that this is the room ID unless you know that number 1 is associated with the room ID. And then we're getting basically the room that the player is in. So here we're just getting the ID, but then the next level we're getting the actual room. You can see that's the same for both of these. So it looks like we're just, this is where we're outputting the title of the room and the room description. And then it looks like we're iterating over the exits, I believe. So if we look here, at this room, this sort of demo room, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, element 5. Ah! Why does hitting the middle mouse button move things? That makes no sense. Okay, hopefully undos are very, very iffy in here. So hopefully everything still works. Nope, I cannot type anymore. Crap. Looks like something's messed up here. I don't know if that's exactly how it was before, but I think that should work. Yep. Backspace still works. All right, I'm happy with that. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues later. Let's take a time to just do that, and then that should reorganize things a little bit better for us so that we hopefully don't run into that issue again. All right, so let's get back to this. Yeah, so we're looping over all the exits. And then I don't know what that's for, but hopefully we'll get to it. So then we're saying if the exit that we're on is, oh, come on, is not blank. So if there's an exit in that direction, then we're gonna add that direction to valid directions, which is defined up here. So essentially we'll just, at this point, this is a list, this valid directions. So essentially we'll just have a list of all the valid directions that we can travel in, but no commas or spaces. So then we're gonna loop through each of the directions, and we're gonna set string builder to whatever it was initially, which you can see up here, it's just set to nothing. So on the first direction, string builder is gonna be set to nothing. And then we're joining it with the current direction that we are iterating, or the current index of the, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know the right words. And then we're saying if it's the last item, then we're adding a comma. Or if it's, sorry, hold on. Am I missing a knot there? Is that really my problem? I'm just missing a knot. Nope, that's not right. Oh, that might be it. There we go, that looks better. Cool. So we fixed that issue. What do I want to do next? I'm actually thinking of changing the player to use key value for its data. But something else I want to show real fast is we can actually save and load. Because like right now we created this room east. If we save this and then we guess I didn't really want to save it. That's okay. If we press the green flag, you can see it gets rid of everything. Let's which is what we want. Let's create a new room. So we'll create a room east. Creates a room in the east, and then we can run this block, which will save our game. So now if we press the green flag, you can see it keeps east in there. And you can also name the game something else. So let's say we want to create a new game called Game 2. That's actually going to cause an issue, which is something else I'll need to figure out. But what we could do is just save a game as Game 2. And now when we try to load it, expecting less but getting taxed. Can we load game 1 still? No. What just happened? This is the thing. Very prone to bugs. So this should give us a list of what's actually in. Oh, okay. Can we load game 2? No. Is it because we have an empty world? I think it is. Something happened. Oh. I see what the problem is. I thought. What's weird to me is this doesn't seem to exist in this block. Hold up. Is this saying the help command? I don't see it in here either. Inside a custom block. Okay, which one? Well, I don't think we're drawing at this point. Let's just try removing these command looks. All right, so that works. I don't think it's necessarily something. Actually, it might be. Let me just take a minute to think. So right now the issue is that we have nothing in world. Oh. Huh. That happened earlier when I moved something, and I was like, I hope this doesn't cause any issues later. I think it did. Man, I really screwed something up. I'm just trying to think of the best way to fix it. Maybe we can just do this. Let's actually get rid of this because I think we can just edit it, and I don't want to accidentally click on that. So now we have a list. So now we'll use this. I think we should be able to do game 2. Yeah. And then what will happen if we do this? Oh, come on. I don't think that's going to do what we want it to do. Yeah. This hurts. Hey Google, stop. I don't know what those alarms are for.
All right, the 8-hour, 34-minute, and 17-second one, which is up now on kitchen speaker.
Thank you. You're very loud. I think that was when I was supposed to wake up. That did not happen though. No way I can display that on the screen. I'm pretty sure there is. I just don't know how. But what we could do is set error to JSON show variable error. There we go. Okay, so now we have. Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, almost. Let's just do this. Expecting less, but getting text. The question came up at add. But that just worked. Is that what we wanted? Yeah, buddy. Okay, so now we can save this. Maybe we should just put this somewhere for in case we need it. So let's just do this. Okay. Store key value. Ah! I hate this so much. Why does the middle mouse button also move blocks? That makes no sense. Venture Studio. And value will be JSON. As JSON. Okay. There we go. So now we have a world. So now things kind of work, except it's still listing the exits if there are no exits. I think is what I would describe that issue as being. So let's come here to command look. And Excuse me. Did I apply that? Yeah, it's not going to work. Because even though there's nothing in the exits, it's still counting them as an element. It's just null, essentially. Oops. There we go. So now it just doesn't show any exits if there's no exits. But if we create a room and a direction, everything breaks. Yeah. I don't even know if that was a cause of what we just did here. Yeah. This is the bug that I was talking about earlier. Come on. Let's see if we can figure this out. I'm getting kind of hungry. I might take a break here in a bit. Okay, and what we can actually do is sort of step through this. Actually, you know what? I don't think this will... I don't know if there's a way to step through a custom block, and I also wish... Maybe there is. Can I use this as like a breakpoint? Aha. Okay, so I don't know that this is working. Okay. There we go. Wait, no. Okay. Okay. Stop, play. So now we should be paused here, right? Hold on. Okay, so now we're paused here. At least we should be. But it's not gonna let us... Yeah, it's not gonna let us step through that. That's so annoying. I should have put the pause link in here. That's why I had to press the flag and stop and all that weird stuff. think this is all jacked up. Might be better off just starting over with that. All right, I'm going to take a break. Let me think about this for a little while.